It's my first day of school! Hi. Okay, good morning everyone. I am about to be embarking on my education journey and I need some honey nut Cheerios. Except I don't think they're honey nut Cheerios. They're honey hoops. They are in fact honey hoops. And I'm obsessed with them. I need to get my milk. My milky poos. Hopefully not. If you know, you know. My oat milk. And I think I'm gonna add a banana in it. I have, what do I have? Need of a bowl. Need of a vestibule. I have one class today and potentially a workshop which isn't on my timetable, which low-key would kill my vibe. So that's okay. I wanted to see one of my friends in Edinburgh. And also, another one of my friends has just flown into Edinburgh today. So I was kind of like, oh, I literally cut myself off. I was kind of hoping on a nice 1 to 2 lecture. And then I could have the day. But school has given me a rude awakening. My timetable is horrific, some would say. I needed to see it to know what I was getting myself in for. But I'm already in. So it is what it is. But I'm pretty sure we're starting the year off with statistics. So I'm super excited about that. I don't have the textbook there. In my undergrad, we had a really cool bookstore that had a basement where you could, the bananas are a little green. It's one of my favorite Joni Mitchell songs. Anyways, I did my undergrad in a town in the US, Amherst College, and we had Amherst books, and they had a whole basement with course little sections for each course, and you could just go and pick up a book. It was expensive, but it was like small town local bookstore and everything you needed right there. So yeah, when I got a job, that's where I got my books. Otherwise, no. I need to get a stats textbook. My one friend is like, I've never got a stats textbook. And she's been fine. We actually had the split, but the split was for the same reason. We just came on different sides because she was like, I would always buy the book that's written by one person because in terms of humanities or social concepts, because that's like one person's ideas versus a textbook that's universal in terms of maths or stats or science that you could find elsewhere. And I was like, I see the same thing, but I would forego the one person's ideas to have what's universal in a book form, which is quite interesting. The same thinking led to deviation in results. Oh wow, I'm already in the stats mode, but I am going to eat my breakfast now. So TTYL. Okay, my angels, it's time for me to go get educated, but this bag is a brick. Also, I was gonna wear like part of the reason this bag is a brick is because of the strepsils and the 2 water bottles. It's definitely not, but oh my gosh, is it heavy? I should do a what's in my bag for school. Like there's literally, it's bulging. But I was gonna wear a jacket over this. It's too warm, so I'm just doing this for like the fun layer of it, and this red jumper, which I was wearing this beige long sleeve, and we were gonna go get adopted into our academic families, and she was like, I think you should change because that color does nothing for you. And so now I have this fun joke in my head of being like, do you think this does something for me? And this apparently does something for me. Apparently I need to be wearing bright colors, and you know what? I'm not mad about that. So anyways, we are reviving this red jumper that I kind of binned off in the back of my cupboard for a while. And off we go. I just feel like, what do you mean it's my first day of school? I feel like my fit's not really fitting. Should I put this on? Okay. Okay, I did change. This is more fun for first day. It's definitely not as cozy, but maybe I should feel a little bit on edge in the lecture. Like maybe I shouldn't be so comfortable that I could fall asleep. Maybe we should try guard against that with the fits. But anyways, I'm off ski now. Hello, it's me from the very far away future. I just needed to contextualize because I feel like this was a core event. I was essentially going to meet someone who I never ended up meeting and never saw again. We'll leave it at that. But I ended up connecting with my beautiful, beautiful friends, Ellen and Em, ended up staying at Em's house and then getting the morning train back to Edinburgh. So essentially that is the context of these clips that I'm kind of showing you. Ellen was supposed to be on a family trip, but it ended up falling through last minute. So she came to Edinburgh. She's doing like a gap year traveling. And yeah, so I went to Edinburgh for like the epitome of girlhood. I would describe what ended up happening as being part of the law for when you meet the person who it does work out with. You can be like, wow, that was crazy that happened, and that was so obviously not going to work. And retrospectively, that was so obviously not going to work. But I really love my commitment to optimism. There's that. But we can have a separate discussion about this. Back to reuniting with Ellen, which was crazy. This vlog kind of is me hanging out with her, which is really awesome and really special. And yeah, we walked around where I used to live in Stockbridge and Inverleith Park, and then we headed up to Carlton Hill, watched the sunrise and listened to some Daniel Caesar, some Dijon. Ellen and I's music taste is like the Spider-Mans pointing at each other. It's like there is no difference. And then Em joined us. She was doing a day trip to the Highlands, and we caught her at this restaurant which had the best cider I've ever had. And then I was going to get a train, but I couldn't figure out how to get from the train station back to my house in St. Andrews End. So Em very kindly took me in, and I met her dog. Not her dog, her flat dog. There's a whole side story to that, which... and she's now leaving that flat. But it was very fun to get the insight into the dynamics. Yeah, this was my little trip. And then I came back the next morning. I walked from her house to Waverley at like 5 a.m. to get, well, after 5 to get the 6:30 train. And then I had a lecture. And as soon as I got into my lecture, I was like, crashing. That is when the tiredness hit. But yeah, it was fun. And I ended up seeing Em last week again, actually, and Ellen later on in this vlog. So that's what happened there. Good morning, guys. What a day. What a quick turnaround. I simply will have to update you later.
You know she's been in my kitchen.
Guys, going to bed right now is just genuinely going to be the most amazing. I've been looking forward to this all day. I will see you tomorrow. So fun. Ellen in the kitchen.
We moved from here when she was 15.
Good morning, my little angels. Encroaching on the line. Okay. I always feel so antisocial if I'm like talking to someone with my AirPods in. Like I feel like if I'm in a queue in a shop, like I have to take them out because it's just, oh, I'm not listening to anything. I simply couldn't with the stimulation. It would be too many things. But anyways, good morning. It's Saturday. We're about to run and head out the door to go to Dundee where Ellen is staying. She's feeling a little bit under the weather. Will probably just be a very chill exploration of the V&A and just a lovely little hangout with my sweet little goose. Yesterday was the longest day of my life. I woke up ready to go to bed, which you just know how that day is gonna go. I don't know if I ended up, I think I filmed a little bit, but yeah, we ended up getting adopted, which is a tradition here at St. Andrews where you have like an academic family. It's normally first years getting adopted by third years, but postgrads can get adopted. So we're kind of like children, but also, I don't know, I feel like it's the same thing. But it's really because in Raisin Week, we all dress up in matching costumes and it's just a cute tradition. And me, sucker for a tradition. And so yeah, it was really cool. Ellen came. Ellen was our cousin because she's in the fam, but she's not enrolled, obviously. When I told people I was like, I'm gonna go drop Ellen off, they're like, your cousin, of course. My actual cousin. But anyways, I found the reference funny and I think that's all that matters. Anyways, I'm taking my brand new bag, which I made at sewing class. Like, what do you mean I made this? Also, it was so easy. I can insert the patterns we used because it was so easy and it's such a perfect size. And I've wanted one of these bags for a ridiculously long amount of time. And we just made it in 2 hours. And that's crazy. I was a bit like, am I really an intermediate sewer or am I a beginner? But I think having broken 2 sewing machines, I've done enough damage to have learned a few things. So yeah, and also I made this. I didn't add any pockets because me and sewing is like, It's fun, but I'm not trying to be told what to do or spend 5 years in one day on one thing. So yeah, this was really satisfying because it's basically like just straight lines and then attaching. This is how I closed the seam, if anyone's interested. Just folded it in and sewed across. There was this like fancy way of incorporating it, but one of the instructors was like, you don't need to leave a gap, and then the other lady was like, you do need to leave a gap if you want to do the fancy closing. So my fate was written for me, some would say, but that's okay. I am literally gonna grab a banana and head to the bus and get the next bus to Dundee and sort out brekkie there. I think it's been the most manic week, and I think I'm going to a soup potluck tonight. Crazy, very excited about that. I met the most interesting people at this discussion group called Thinking Aloud, and yeah, one of them invited us to this soup night, and then Meg's coming tomorrow, so a very busy start to the semester. I definitely do need at some point, which will probably be next Saturday, a day where I'm literally just sitting by myself, no contact, just me and my desk, fully locked in. I need a locked in day. I am a social creature. Every human being is way more interesting. No, that's a lie. It's just as interesting. Like when I'm in a lecture, I'm like locked in because I actually crazy for once in my life. I feel like I made a good decision with my program, which is a great feeling. But I just feel like, I don't know, everyone is so interesting here that I'm just like, speak to. But I also want to be playing my guitar and my piano, but that requires time. So it's that point of the semester, I think, where everything's very fresh and new and it hasn't shaken out and settled. But I'm a bit confused because this schedule at this university, the system is unlike anything I've ever interacted with, in that every week the timetable changes. What do you mean? Genuinely, what do you mean? I don't know how I'm supposed to have a schedule. So it's really day by day, but I feel like I need to have multiple timelines going on, in that I have like my classes and then I have what I want to do that day. But what really helped me during undergrad, and I mean, not really undergrad, because did I fall off the face of the earth? Absolutely. When I was really thriving academically, I would say I really relied on block scheduling and knowing what I would do when. But I feel like I can't really do that if my schedule's changing. Like I can't be like, okay, Monday I will do this time every week, because it's going to be different. I'm a big notes reviewer and I write rough. Like I cannot have my laptop out in a lecture, but I write rough on notes, and then I like to go back and review the lecture and the materials posted and synthesize my notes in actual. I can show you. I can actually just show you. Crazy. Oh, in a little notebook, and I found this one in the cupboard, and Alison was like, are you planning to use this? And I was like, yes. And she was like, that's great, because this is what her husband worked, I think, as a consultant for this firm, so he has like a bunch of these, so I think she likes like seeing it in use, and that's really sweet to me. But as you can see, okay, I need to make a card for her son, for Jamie, by Monday, but as you can see, she's blank. I have no written up notes to show you. So we have 5 weeks of block modules, so I only have 5 neuro lectures, and so I'm kind of like, I was just gonna do like week 1 and then class rather than sectioning it into the classes. I feel like that makes sense to my brain, and then I can just either tab it or find it. Crazy. But yeah, these are my folder of rough notes that I'm needing to, and my to-do list that are just needing to just be made a bit permanent. So that's going to be a task for anyone who loves studying. Not really being a very good study tuber because I'm actually not doing much studying, but soon enough. Yeah, I have waffled on for 7 minutes as per usual. I'm gonna put my jacket on, grab a banana, say hi bye to Alison and head out. My data's not working, so that's kind of pissing me off, but we will figure that out on the way. I think it's like a 40-minute bus to Dundee, so I'll just drop my location to Ellen, and worst comes to worst, we'll find each other. Dundee can't be that big. Can't be that big. Would you like to go with others? Sweet, I just keep it. Would you like to go, my hero, with me? Would you like to try ice latte with eggnog? Would you like to go? Ellen texting her friend, giving her good advice. Una bella.
Who told you about this?
He went to his mother, Princess Alice, who loaned him a tiara that she herself had been given.
Hey, it's a full other day. Meg is on the train, pulling up, and I just came back from the library. I wrote my first thing. I was so stressed and I forgot about how scared I get when it comes to submitting things. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like whenever I get an assignment, I mean, I feel like now if the words are on the page and I did it, but when I haven't done it, I get so scared, and it's such a weird feeling because I genuinely, it's my stomach and my mind just can't do that. There's no time, there's no feasible way you could do that. There's no feasible way you could write 500 words. I genuinely believe it. I'm like, I've got so much to do, there's no time, I'm so stressed, but you just do it, and it hardly ever takes as long as you think it does. Also, part of me is like, you would get so much done if you just started, but I feel like I have to be really scared and then get some perspective, and then I can start. When I'm really scared about it, when I get really tense, I can't write, like I can't think. I feel like this could be performance anxiety. I don't know, it's weird because it's like I love writing and I love learning, but as soon as it gets graded, I'm like so terrified. And I genuinely feel like I can't read, I can't write, I don't have a degree, no. No. So that's fun, I'm gonna work through that. And I also feel like, because I haven't been studying for 2 years and now I had that experience for this, it's literally an ungraded assignment, but I was like, wow, okay. It really motivates me to be on top of things because I wanna do my thesis and I wanna finish, and I should start now, at least thinking about it. Yeah, I feel like I've been reminded of how I am with assignments in school, and I just need to work with my nature rather than against it. And I know I do feel like this, but I think it's actually ultimately a good thing to an extent, in that it means I really do put a lot of effort into my work. But yeah, I need to get started earlier so I can have time for these. Anyways, yesterday I had such an amazing time with Ellen, and I thrifted this in the op shop, which is a little Lacoste button up. It was really funny because me wearing the shirt with one of those narrow beanies, like if anyone's on TikTok, the whole performative male with his shirt and his low beanie and the matcha, I was like, lol, that's me. I just need the specific beanie. She was like, you need to get on TikTok, because how funny if I was like, day in the life of a performative male, but it's like just me wearing the shirt. Anyways, it's pretty cool, and I might actually be seeing her in December again. It's so fun to, I don't know, have a traveling friend. And then also what I like about school is when you're not in school, you have all this time off to hop about, hopefully. So we might take a work away or a volunteer exchange. Yeah, I got this shirt, which is from Lacoste, and it was £3. £3. The tag said $14.95, and I was like, I don't know. Why I started talking about the beach was because I thought it was a really cute bikini cover up, but also it turns out it was actually only £3 at the till. And then I got some fabric scissors, which say they're house scissors, but then on the back they say ideal for sewers and crafters. So I'm kind of on the fence as to whether that's true. I also got this really cool book, which I will show you, from the Oxfam bookstore, and it was really crazy because it's like looking at me, and I don't know. When I show you, I'll tell you. And what else? I feel like I got something else. Lentil crisps and a tiny pocketbook diary. I can whip it out and have my little assignments in it. I need to eat something. And then Meg's here, which might be a new video because we were talking about we should make a vlog. So we might just have a whole separate chaotic video of Meggle the Eggle in St. Andrews. But I don't know where Alison is right now. She's out. But I picked up some food for dinner. I'm gonna make like a type of pie. Here we are in the study, and I can show you my items. So I got this book, which is called The Cruel Sea. If you've read it, let me know. It's super dense, but what was crazy about it is, okay, it was just sitting there and I was looking at it and I was like, moments before I had just told Ellen how my granddad Pops was a port captain of the port in Richards Bay. That's why my mom ended up moving there, and that's where she met my dad. But I didn't know that until kind of recently, that he was, you know, a port captain and therefore around ships a lot, and this is about sailing. But then I opened it because I was like, how many pages do you think it is? Because it feels really dense. And then I opened it to the last page, 444, one of my lucky numbers. And then I looked at it and it says Transvaal Joburg. That's crazy. And then I looked at it more, and he was from Liverpool, and then he went to Canada. Well, then he went to Joburg, and then he went to Ottawa, the actual author. And that's crazy because I really do feel like Canada somehow will be my future. And I love making these videos because if I do end up in Canada somehow, I will definitely be documenting it, because hopefully it's in the near future. Kind of crazy for Ellen, who's from Australia. We walked in and it said Kia ora, which is from New Zealand. A whole New Zealand owned cafe. And then when she was looking at the menu, like so much of it was references to Australia and New Zealand culture, things you can buy in that part of the world. And I don't know. And then we did this thing where she had this postcard she wanted to give me.
I didn't actually pay for it because I didn't have enough money in cash in Prague. I didn't have any Prague money, and then he gave it for me to me for free, and it was in a vintage store. But
wait, how come he gave it to you for free? He was just like, it's okay.
Because he couldn't do it with card.
Oh.
It's got someone's like little note on it, so they're all vintage ones.
Oh wow.
Yep. And then this one was from a mountain that I hiked in Poland.
When you're in Zakopane, did you go to the...
But she hadn't written on it yet. And so the cafe actually had postcards. And so I took one and we basically wrote our notes to each other then. So that was really cute. And they're little puffins. He got it for me in Iceland. And when we went to the V&A, we went to see the Palestinian embroidery exhibit. And then outside there was this engagement thing where you could put blocks on this grey and then a piece of paper and then crayons. This was, I think, for the exhibit on the garden. And I did this one for Jamie, which is Alison's son, because it's the Partick Thistle colours. So I'm gonna cut this out somehow and stick it on his birthday card. Also in the museum, before we even entered the exhibitions, they had the exhibition on gardening and I got these postcards, which I just love so much. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the V&A. After that, we went to a little restaurant called Tahini, and the people there were so lovely. It was like a Lebanese Mediterranean food cuisine, and I got the falafel platter. Please, I would nosh one up right now if I was in Dundee, that's where I'd be. But I have some rice with mushrooms. Also, Ellen had a stuffed pepper with rice, and that was crazy. It was like kind of wet rice, but spiced wet rice, if you know what I mean. I don't think wet rice sounds appetizing, but this was beautiful. I'm just describing it badly, but it was really good, and it made me want to try cooking it. Tonight, I'm making a pot pie for my queens, Alison, and soon to be arriving Megal. This might be it for this vlog, because I feel like I've waffled a bit. This is the coffee shop we went to, and I got an iced turmeric latte with oat milk. Who am I? What world do I live in? I'm gonna have my food now, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Wait, actually, yeah, it's Sunday. That was my first week of university. Again. It's been really fun having so many people around and visiting that I really love. So I do want to enjoy it, and then I'll catch up with my videos. And my note-taking notebook will be populated next week. If you know, you know. So yes, bye. Take care. See you soon.
One might say it's similar to what?